What would you do if you saw an old woman standing alone in the middle of a rainstorm? Soaking wet, holding a little kid's backpack. Most people would drive right past. Marcus didn't. Marcus had been driving for about 2 hours when the rain hit hard. Not the soft kind, the kind that makes you feel like the sky is angry at you. Wipers going full speed, road barely visible, and all he wanted was to get home. It had been a rough few months. His wife had passed 8 months ago, and ever since, he'd been doing everything alone. Raising his daughter, paying the bills, going to work, coming back, repeat. He wasn't looking for anything that day. He just wanted to get through it. But then he saw her, standing right on the edge of the road, no umbrella, no shelter, completely soaked. An old woman, maybe in her 70s or 80s, wearing a long dark coat that was heavy with water, and hanging off her small shoulders was the most out-of-place thing you could imagine. A bright blue backpack covered in colorful stars. The kind a 5-year-old would carry on their first day of school. Marcus slowed down. His first thought was that she must be lost. His second thought was that no one should be standing in rain like that. So he pulled over. He rolled down his window and looked at her. She looked back at him with these tired, calm eyes, like she'd been waiting, but not just for a ride, like she'd been waiting for something much longer than that. He asked her if she was okay. She nodded slowly and said she just needed to get to town. Her voice was quiet, steady. Marcus told her to get in. She sat in the passenger seat, the little backpack on her lap, arms wrapped around it like it was the most important thing in the world. Marcus turned the heat up. He asked her name. She said Eleanor. He told her his. She smiled just slightly and looked straight ahead. They drove in silence for a few minutes. Marcus kept glancing at the backpack. It wasn't that heavy. He could tell from how she held it. But something about the way she held it made him feel like it wasn't empty either. It was the kind of grip you use when something matters to you deeply, not when you're protecting stuff. When you're protecting a memory. He asked her gently whose backpack it was. She didn't answer right away. Just looked down at it. Then she said, my grandson's. Marcus didn't push it, but Eleanor kept talking. She told him her grandson's name was Daniel. 7 years old, full of energy, always running, always laughing. She said Daniel had picked out that backpack. Himself walked straight to it in the store and said, Grandma, this one. She'd bought it for his first day of 2nd grade. Marcus felt something tighten in his chest. He asked where Daniel was now. Eleanor was quiet again. Then she said softly, he passed 4 months ago. A car accident. The rain outside seemed louder suddenly. She told Marcus that Daniel's parents, her son and his wife, had been in the accident too. They survived but were badly hurt, still recovering. Daniel hadn't made it. And ever since, Eleanor had been the one holding everything together. Checking on her son at the hospital, managing the house, making sure the world kept moving even when it felt like it had completely stopped. She'd found the backpack in Daniel's room a week ago, and she couldn't bring herself to put it away, so she just took it with her, everywhere. Like a piece of him she could still carry. Marcus had to press his lips together hard to keep it together. Because here's the thing, and this is the part that hits different. Marcus knew exactly what that felt like, carrying something that belongs to someone you lost, just to feel like they're still a little bit with you. After his wife passed, he kept her coffee mug on the counter. Never used it. Just left it there. His daughter asked about it once and he didn't know what to say. He told Eleanor that. Just quietly, honestly. He said he understood more than she knew. Eleanor looked at him then, really looked at him, and asked about his wife. And for the first time in 8 months, Marcus talked about her. Not the short version he gave people at work. The real one. How she used to hum while she cooked. How she always put too much sugar in everything and somehow it always tasted perfect. How his daughter had her laugh. By the time they reached town, neither of them wanted to stop talking. Marcus asked Eleanor if she had somewhere to be. She said she'd been planning to walk to her son's place, about a mile from where he dropped her. He told her he'd drive her there. She didn't argue. When they pulled up to the house, she sat there for a second before getting out. She looked at the backpack, then at Marcus. She reached in slowly and pulled out a small photo, creased at the corners, slightly damp from the rain that had gotten into the bag. It was a picture of Daniel, grinning huge, wearing that exact blue backpack on what looked like the first day of school. She held it out to Marcus. He said he couldn't take that. She said, you didn't take it. I'm giving it to you. So you remember that carrying someone with you isn't the same as being stuck. You're still moving. And that's brave. Marcus didn't say anything. He just nodded, because if he'd opened his mouth, he probably would have lost it completely. He drove home that evening different than he'd left. Not fixed, not suddenly okay, just lighter. Like someone had reminded him that grief isn't a sign that something went wrong. It's a sign that something was real and it mattered. And it was worth loving in the first place. He put the photo on the counter next to his wife's mug. That night, his daughter asked who the little boy in the photo was. Marcus sat down with her and told her the whole story, and she listened with wide eyes, the way kids do when they know something important is being said. Sometimes the strangest moments, a rainstorm, a random road, an old woman with a child's backpack, end up being the ones that change something in you quietly, without any warning at all. You never know what someone is carrying, and you never know what a little kindness in the rain can do. If this story hit you somewhere real, watch the next video that's popping up right now. You're going to want to see it.